needs help today. Follow John Miller around town for that one. Gabe has the good times and the memories of disasters past. And Ace is with some folks making money out of the snow.
They called it a special Let It Snow sale, but nobody expected this. I'll have that story.
Wayne, Carol, and I see you at 6.
And well up into the lower Hudson Valley, eastern Connecticut, eastern Long Island, and southern New Jersey, a little bit less, 14 to 24 inches of snow. Tonight, single digits, low single digits north and west, mid to upper single digits in Connecticut, upper single digits to low teens here in town and along the coast with brisk northwesterly winds, meaning wind chills will be a real factor. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, but a cold start to the day, upper single digits to the upper teens, and then our 5-day forecast for you. Wednesday, sunshine, 28, Thursday, 27, Friday and Saturday, snow possible, temperatures in the low 30s. So it's going to be kind of...
New Channel here in New York City. Phone the Red Cross at 212-787-1000. If you're in New York City and have no heat, call 212-960-4800. And for power outages, call your local utility company. For airport information, JFK at 718-244-4444. LaGuardia at 718-533-3400. Or Newark at 201-961-6000. Some commuter railways are running, but delays should be expected. Call the LIRR at 516-822-5477. Metro North at 212-532-4900. And for past train info, 1-800-234-7284. Stay with News Channel 4 all day for continuous live coverage of Blizzard 96.
Mayor, New York is very public about the storm.
And also, the borough hit the worst was the borough has 100% just about of the primary roads plowed, 69% of the secondary roads plowed, and they're working to try to get the whole place plowed by tomorrow morning. So I've been up in the Bronx for the last couple hours, and I've been able to see it for myself. The conditions in the city are still hazardous, and no one should be fooled by the fact that the snow has stopped into thinking that, well, now it's a relatively easy matter to move around. These are very, very dangerous conditions. So the snow emergency is going to continue into tomorrow. What that means is the only vehicles that should come into the city are vehicles that are coming in for a critical purpose. Emergencies, healthcare workers, uniformed service workers, people that are involved in law enforcement, people that are involved in critical jobs can come in. All others should stay at home or use public transportation. So the snow emergency will continue into tomorrow. This is necessary to allow the sanitation department to continue the job of cleaning up the city. And it also...
And of course, all of those cars that are stranded on the sides of the streets in New York, covered up with snow. Mountains of it. All right, now we're going to turn to a bully of a flu epidemic and snow shoveling advice. Your heart
Didn't bury the snowplows did in the constant battle to rid the roads of the white stuff. And they've got to put all that stuff someplace, right? Well, just in case you missed it, this is where we were on Channel 2 News at noon, atop a 25-foot mountain of snow dumped behind the Bergen County Courthouse. Here at the Hackensack Gardens apartment complex, it was a community effort as neighbors pitched in to shove and shovel each other out. And if you didn't have a shovel, you used whatever was on hand. You don't own a shovel. We don't. You're in trouble, honey. I know. We didn't expect that much snow. For the most part, people heeded the warnings and kept themselves and their cars at home. A situation that lent itself to street scenes that were almost surreal as drivers shared the roads with more foot traffic than cars. It was time to enjoy the Courier and Ives beauty that a storm like this leaves in its wake. Enjoy it before tomorrow morning's reality check.
I was on vacation last week. If I don't get to work tomorrow, I don't pay the rent.
But for most of us, it was just a full-time job cleaning up after the blockbuster blizzard of '96, and who really has time to enjoy it but the kids?
We were gonna make a snowman, and all of a sudden you fell apart, so we said, what the hell is make a snow duck?
Well, that's cute as the snow duck, and I'll tell you, something I've been wanting to do all day long, and now that we're about to go off the air, I think it's safe to do it. And John, Michelle, this one is for you. My little... Silly voice coming in off the air now.
so happy, isn't she?
Hands are open. If we move the camera a little bit, you might be able to make some of the snow plows that have been running up and down these streets all day, and part of the problem is a tremendous accumulation of snow. There's also been hazardous conditions. Visibility has been very low. And
we have some amazing videotapes to show you. A little bit earlier today, the heavy snow accumulation was being blamed for the partial roof collapse of a New Jersey State Unemployment Office. We understand there were no injuries. And also in Burlington County, a man was seriously injured when he stepped in front of a snowplow. Now, getting back to what we were talking about before, the road conditions remain extremely hazardous. And we were talking with Governor Whitman on either side, and she was talking about the problem of the drifts. Now, if we move over here, you might be able to see what she was talking about. The drifts continue to accumulate, so no matter where the plows push the snow, it's still making it very difficult for traffic to get by. There's simply not enough room, and this is what Governor Whitman had to say about that a little bit earlier today.
The road should be fine. They've all actually been plowed now, but it's a question of trying to keep people off so that the plows can finish the job well. We've had obviously a problem with blowing snow and drifting. They've got to get on top of that. There's some instances where the snow that's been pushed to the side has gotten so deep that that's a problem in and of itself, and we're having to truck snow out to medians or to rivers and dumping it.
And here's some of the snow that's sort of been pushed away. If I can move the camera here, it's pretty deep. You know, it's reaching practically up to my knee here. And that's going to be the problem for a lot of these road crews, pushing the snow away and making it a little bit more difficult for cars to get by. Now, we understand that the ban will be lifted, the state of emergency, that is, will be lifted at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So roads will be, that is, cars will be allowed to be on most of the roadways, but still there will be extremely hazardous conditions. So that's the way it looks right now at the George Washington Bridge. Reporting live, I'm Chuck Gomez. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, Chuck, thank you. New Jersey beaches are taking a beating from the blizzard of '96. Storm with waves are chiseling away at the coastline. While it's still too early to estimate how much damage is being done, marine scientists fear the beach fills done last summer are going to be wiped out.
Staten Island isn't fare any better than the rest of the city. The Verrazano Bridge is open, but it's hazardous because of icy winds, and driving is a slow go in swirling snow. Cars sit almost buried, their tops just barely peeking out, and commuters waited in the cold for buses or slogged it out through the drifts. Most neighborhoods are at a standstill today.
And the rest of the borough is also at a standstill. Mayor Giuliani ordered all private cars off the streets, declaring an emergency. A blizzard command center is set up at City Hall, and that's where News Channel 4's Dave Browdy has been all day. Dave?
Well, several here is briefing reporters now on exactly what the conditions are. Those closings are still in effect. He says that the Bronx and Staten Island were the hardest hit. The Bronx with 30 inches of snow, Staten Island with 29 and a fraction. He is saying that the subways are really the only way to get around right now. Cars are still off the streets by order of the police department. But there are some problems on the subways. No A trains in the Rockaways where it's elevated at a surface level, and B, D, L, M, and Q trains all have some service. That is turned around. The sanitation department is out doing its best, but this is what the mayor says about conditions right now.
The conditions in the city are still hazardous, and no one should be fooled by the fact that the snow has stopped into thinking that, well, now it's a relatively easy matter to move around. These are very, very dangerous conditions. So the snow emergency is going to continue.
The things are going to be really quite difficult. They say that right now things are working pretty much the way they're supposed to. Calls to 911 are up by 10%. They say that's manageable, but calls to EMS in particular are a problem. They are up by more than 55%. The ambulances are having a tough time getting around. That's what it's like right now. We'll go back to you. We'll have more on this briefing a little later.
All right, Dave Browdy, thank you very much. The mayor has been urging the public not to use 911 unless it's a true emergency. If you have a question...
EMS and the unsung heroes of this blizzard of '96 are all the helping hands who came to the rescue. The Channel 4's John Miller has more.
Since the snow began falling, New York police have logged in 50,000 calls for fire, ambulance, and police emergencies. That's nearly a 30% increase over 2 days. The city's emergency medical service said ambulance calls alone were up nearly 30%. And for ambulance crews, getting into the side streets, getting victims over snowdrift, and then getting out was a challenge, unless you were in one of these. On loan from the National Guard's 258th Field Artillery Unit in Jamaica, staffed by guardsmen and a city EMS crew.
We're picking up all the calls that our regular ambulances having trouble getting into.
How do you feel helping out these EMS guys on their ambulance runs?
Great guys and great to work with. I mean, this is fantastic.
When people see this coming down the street, what do they give it a second look or what?
They get out. They get out of the way.
The storm had emergency workers
but because the normal cadre of people who come walking in or by taxi weren't really there today. The less serious injuries. Of course, the group that had some of the largest problems with the storm were the homeless.
And the only people who are really coming here are people who aren't plugged in socially, who are homeless or under the influence of alcohol. We found a couple of people under the snow, and we're trying to make sure nobody dies in New York City from that issue. So Bellevue's always welcoming those people in.
Now, the police had to be out and in their cars, but that didn't mean it had to be easy. But God helps those who help themselves and have a big truck with a winch. John Miller, News Channel 4.
11 city housing projects are either without heat or running low because of a boiler breakdown or being low on fuel. The city housing authority says it is working on repairs. The fuel deliveries have been slowed because the streets blocked by snow drifts.
And as you can well imagine, the snow has made a mess out of the commute to and from Long Island. There are massive delays and cancellations on the LIRR, and getting around the island by car has been a nightmare. News Channel 4's Linda Laverne is live in Hicksville with the latest for us. Linda.
Well, right now there is still no service on the Long Island Railroad between Penn Station and Jamaica. In fact, we have just heard that the railroad does not expect to have that service restored by tomorrow morning. In fact, in about 1/2 hour, the railroad says that it will release its plans for tomorrow to see what the morning rush hour commute will look like. Also, there is only sporadic service on 3 of its 8 lines that service on the Port Jefferson, Ronkonkoma, and Babylon branches. And workers, as we speak, are trying to use heaters to melt the ice off the tracks as the temperatures drop tonight. And when asked about the number of people riding the rails today, well, they said there were dramatically fewer passengers. It looked more like a holiday than a Monday on the Long Island Railroad. Those brave enough to weather the harsh blizzard conditions were met with only occasional train service, and even that diminished as the day and the snow continued.
It's been crazy. I spent 7 hours here last night waiting for a train. And finally, I got the next train going east and took me back to my hometown. I stayed there, and I'm going to try again to go to Central Islip.
How long does it normally take you to get to work?
50 minutes in and out.
And today it took you how long?
About 2.5, 3 hours each way. So I should have stayed in bed today.
Service was suspended between Penn Station and Jamaica.
I'm just lucky that I'm in Hicksville and my train happens to be working. It's one of 3, I think, that are left actually running. I'm lucky that I can get anywhere.
Conditions were so bad on the tracks, a work train derailed near the Great Neck Station on the Port Washington branch, which had already been shut down. There were only employees on the train. No one was injured. But at least some of the trains were running, not so for many cars. While most major roads are at least passable, transportation officials say it'll be at least 12 to 18 hours from the end of the snowfall, so they can say the side roads are completely passable. And that, of course, is for major secondary roads. In the meantime, Nassau and Suffolk counties remain under a state of emergency. Reporting live in Hicksville, I'm Linda Laverne. Back to you, Carol. Thank you, Linda, very much. And how is Metro North doing? Trish Jodice of Shadow Traffic joins us now with a quick look at transportation. Trish.
All right, Carol. Well, Metro North, right now, 3 trains now are going to leave Grand Central and head up north between now and 8 o'clock. So only 3 trains are running for tomorrow. Still skeptical of what's going to happen. New Jersey Transit trains, they will be on a Saturday schedule tomorrow, and that's for tomorrow morning's rush hour. Roadway conditions, though, still extremely treacherous. Of course, we do have the state of emergency still in effect throughout the tri-state area. We'll take a look right now in Westchester County. Roadway conditions very bad along 287 and the New England Thruway. Tappan Zee Bridge, we're down to a 35-mile-an-hour speed restriction. In fact, because of the state of emergency, if you get stuck and need to be towed, they will impound your car. So make sure you do stay off of the roadway. Finally, alternate side of the street parking rules will be suspended tomorrow citywide. Carol, that's you.
Thank you very much, Trish.
Dan will get a live report from Kennedy Airport in just a few minutes for you.
Also ahead, the Lucky Carlito blocked runways. Port Authority workers have been doing all they can to clear the runways and reopen the airport. Right now, News Channel 4's Don Williams is checking out the situation at Kennedy for us. Joe, Don, what can you tell us?
I'm contemplating wind chill is what I'm doing. It's getting very cold out here. Here at Kennedy Airport, of course, the airport is closed down. The interesting fact, I think, in the last few minutes, I've been looking back at the International Arrivals Terminal, and I've been noticing that a lot of people are finally getting the hint that the airport is closed down. It will not reopen tonight. The best that the officials can tell me is that this airport may be open by noon tomorrow. The big watchword here, I guess, is call ahead. Make sure you know whether or not the airport is open, whether or not your flight is going to leave. If you don't, then you could end up just sitting here all afternoon trying to get out one more time. But But as they say, they should be open by noon tomorrow. That's not a promise, but a goal that they're shooting for here at JFK. As far as the other airport, somebody's laughing in my ear. As far as the other airports are concerned, we're looking at probably late tomorrow afternoon and before those airports open. But anyway, they'll be working throughout the night here at JFK, trying to get the runways open, trying to get this airport open. I'm Don Williams reporting live from JFK.
Don, was that a male laugh or female laugh you just heard?
It was a female laugh. I think it sounded like Carol.
What did it sound like, Carol? She likes her cat to the blizzard of 96 for us, Joe.
A special look indeed, Chuck. Chuck, we've been talking to all kinds of people, and people in White Plains, this area, are really helping one another. Lots of stories of neighbor helping neighbor, trying to dig out cars, things like that. Also, people driving four-wheel drive trucks have really come to the aid of White Plains Hospital. They brought in doctors and nurses who otherwise couldn't get through this terrible snow. People have been bringing us coffee and donuts, and we certainly do appreciate that. And then there are unusual people. We found this man walking around without a shirt. He insisted that feeling cold is only a mindset, and he says he's been doing this for years.
73 now, I've been every last 7 years. Every year I did.
Well, everybody else stayed bundled up. Only a few people even ventured outside, and then the sun broke through the clouds. A short time later, at 3 o'clock, there was actually blue sky, and that brought hope and shovels. It was time to work. This man has 2 cars buried deep in the snow. One car so deep, you can barely see it. He thinks it'll take him a week to dig out his 2 cars. It's a no-win situation on this street, Windsor Terrace. They still have a lot of snow, even though the plows came through. You can tell the plows came through because the cars are buried.
Sir, I'm just trying to get my car out. That's it, I'm away.
Where are you going?
I was going to try to get into a lot where it's underground.
Snow blowers are the only things that really make sense, and they made trenches deep in the snow. Only the young can actually enjoy this.
Is that your dad with the snowplow or something? Or?
Yes, and what about those of us who have to go to work, have to commute? What about those of us who have to take the trains? Well, believe it or not, a train just got here to White Plains. Talked to some commuters just a minute ago. They said they waited for those trains 2 hours in Grand Central Station. Then the commute home took them 1 hour and 15 minutes. Normally, to White Plains, it takes about 33 minutes, I'm told. Now, what about that commute tomorrow? I'm told that Metro North officials are in a meeting at this very minute. We'll tell you what they decide about your tomorrow soon. Joe Avalar, back to you.
Joe, thank you.
Very much now, Chad. The only reason I was laughing at Don's hat is jealousy. You know,
That's it, Carol.
We're
We
gonna
want
need
a
that.
hat like that. Those hats come in handy. We'll all want one real soon. With all the cold air coming in tonight. Finally, though, coming up next on News Channel 4. Area. And you can see the snowfall totals. These are snowfall totals. Now, we've got drifts up to 5 feet, but what we received from the storm in Hunterdon County at White House, 35 inches. Staten Island, nearly 30 inches. Central Park was 20.2. That does set a record for daily snowfall today and yesterday, and also snowfall for the month of January. 20.2 inches for the blizzard of 96. The season so far, 37 inches. The normal for the season is 28 inches, so we're already past the seasonal totals. Snowiest season ever, 63.2 inches. That was during the blizzard of 1947, which some of you may remember, right around Christmas time. Right now, the temperatures, the teens and low 20s across the area, and you're watching the storm track now as the storm is winding down and the snow is ending finally over most of the area. Still snowing across most of Connecticut, parts of Long Island, but it is moving away. Snowing also up across parts of New England. You can see it's still snowing around Boston and up along the Downy shores of Maine. Cold, windy conditions following the low pressure area, which is just off the shore of Cape Cod. The storm is moving away. We've got some clearing going on right now in parts of the tri-state area. And as it clears with the northwest wind, we will see colder weather tonight with single-digit Arctic-like temperatures tomorrow morning, partly sunny skies, and then the snow comes back with another weaker storm tomorrow. You can see this low is over Canada instead of over the Atlantic. This one will be weaker with just some light snow showers, but we could see some accumulations tomorrow night of another inch on top of what we had. We can deal with that, I think. Tonight's lows, though, very cold, single digits to teens around the tri-state, looking for some light snow showers, tapering off and clearing skies gradually over the area. For tomorrow, here's what we expect for highs, teens to mid-20s, mostly sunny skies.
Today's report when we come right back.
So, while others thought it was just about the best thing they'd ever seen.
An old print depicts the blizzard of '88, with winds of 84 miles an hour, power lines down, many died. The blizzard of '96 seems almost benign by comparison. Indeed, once New Yorkers had recovered from the initial shock, they began to play. Sometimes, though, parents seem to be having more fun than kids.
Kids, are we having a great time?
Yes.
West 86th Street and Central Park West, where cars seemed like mounds and an ancient burial ground, and other streets becoming one giant pedestrian mall. Walkers and skiers taking over.
Are you on your way to work?
No.
Not all New Yorkers were having fun. In a place they call Homeless Hills, down near the Brooklyn Bridge, another group was just trying to keep warm.
The last night was a rough night.
Very rough night.
As the snow stopped, people came out in droves. Central Park near the Dakota had a Currier and Ives look. Despite the snow, someone was riding a bike.
It's not today. When will you do it, you know?
And a stunning sight, 3 snowmobiles. The drivers said they'd come all the way down the Sawmill from Putnam County. Coping, having fun, enjoying life, whether it's snow or sleet or blizzard. It's an old New York tradition. Dave Pressman, News Channel 4.
Well, the snowstorm means you're a big winner. We're going to ask Asa about one big company.
In slow motion, and the digging out will go on for days. It was much more than an inconvenience. This was a dangerous and expensive storm. We begin tonight with NBC's Robert Hager.
The huge blizzard roared from Kentucky through the middle Atlantic and into the Northeast, affecting close to 100 million Americans, nearly 40% of the nation's population. Snow depths were stunning. Philadelphia, a record 30 inches, more than it normally gets in an entire winter. Newark, also a record 27 inches. Washington, a record 2, as high as 24 in suburbs. New York, 20. And Pocahontas County in the West Virginia mountains, up to 48 inches. That's 4 feet. Many had never seen so much snow.
Not in my lifetime. Absolutely not.
Travel was treacherous. The 122-mile New Jersey Turnpike, a key north-south link on the East Coast, was deserted. Absolutely deserted. As that state banned all but emergency vehicles from many highways, Hoboken, New Jersey, kept all outsiders out. Greyhound canceled or cut back service in 14 states. Airports staged a losing battle to keep runways open. More than 4,000 flights were canceled. Passengers left stranded at airports and hotels all over the East. Washington's 3 airports closed until sometime tomorrow. New York's 3 also closed until tomorrow. Hartford and Boston airports closed until further notice. Amtrak canceled 55 trains, half its service. In Charleston, West Virginia, 1 train unable to get further, unloaded passengers into the cold.
Good Lord. It has been an experience.
98 passengers there taken to a hotel. In Washington, on this day, when the federal government was to at last reopen, the city was closed tightly. 110,000 furloughed government workers forced to stay home yet another day. Congress stayed in session only a few minutes. At the White House, President Clinton's national security advisor had to sleep in his office. Nation stayed home. New York, one of the world's great ports, had to shut down shipping in its harbor. And even the mailmen couldn't get through. Deliveries canceled in Washington, Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. Retail forecaster Isaac Lagnano.
We're talking about $1 billion aggregately of lost sales.
And there was damage. In New York, a car of the Long Island Railroad, which normally carries 250,000 passengers into the city, derailed. No one hurt. In Washington, more than 70 passengers had to be rescued after spending 6 hours overnight on a subway car stuck in the snow in freezing temperatures. The sheer weight of the snow caused rooftops to collapse. This one came down in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And in Clinton, Maryland, the roof of a nursing home collapsed into the dining area. No one was hurt, but 110 bedridden patients had to be evacuated in the bitter cold, many on stretchers, and taken to neighboring hospitals. A storm of staggering proportions. And here along Pennsylvania Avenue and elsewhere, it will take days to dig out in the cold. And now, just in time, more snow is expected toward the end of this week. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
Of it and the wind that we've experienced through the night through today. The wind, we can't seem to get ahead of it. When you have 2.5 feet of snow on the side of the roadway and that wind picks up, you find that it's back in the roadway and you have to go back and replow it. We've been plowing
since mid-afternoon yesterday. We'll probably plow for the next 24 to 36 hours before we have all the streets in the city opened up. My goal is after the snowstorm stops, for 100% of the streets in this city to be open for vehicular traffic, then I think we've accomplished an awful lot. So the trick of it is when you see yourself coming near the corner, raise the plow, bring it up. Over all the years I've been with the department, in a time of an emergency such as snow, you really see what sanitation people are made of. They really turn out, they feel proud of what they do, and they look forward to opening up streets and people saying thanks to them. And you wait a lot of years to see a storm like this. We got the new kids now. This is going to be history. And I told them, remember it. And if you stick around the department long enough, you might get one, and you're going to have to address it. I'll be going.
One of the problems with New York City, of course, is that there are so few places to dump the snow. They either have to truck it out of Manhattan or just keep moving it around for a few days. Wall Street was open today,